Hey, what's up guys? It has been a long time since I've done a video. I've been working on a lot of other stuff lately, including bikes, so uh, paintball's been taking the back burner, but I just got a whole box actually of paintball markers from a former customer, and I decided to start getting work on that. The first one up here is an Inception Designs Ripper, which just has this amazing gloss black anodizing. Um, just a really nice milling on there. What you call like a modern autococker. Um, this was actually not on there before. This Inception Designs frame. The owner previously had like actually an old one of those single hole carbon fiber autococker frames. It just wasn't a good fit for this modern body, so he decided to switch to the Inception Designs frame, which I highly recommend. They're really comfortable and really easy to tune. Going with an Inception Designs ASA as well. This is actually a Shocktech Bomb 3, I believe. And when I first started taking this gun apart to take a look, this three-way was threaded on here so tight that it was kind of stuck at a weird angle. I don't know if you can tell here. It's kind of stuck here and jammed. It's actually not good to have that completely tightened down. It's better if it has a little bit of wiggle room so that the O-rings have a chance to seal in there. Same goes with the ram. This was twisted on so hard I had to loosen it. I'm going to bring it back to about there. Same thing. It does not need to be on tight. It is not sealing here at the threads. Same with the three-way. The only thing that's sealing in the front block is the low pressure regulator, the LPR. This didn't have any thread lock or anything on it. It was just, oh, it won't focus on me. Here we go. Just threaded in super tight. So it was just a dry fit, super tight. So I'm going to put a little thread lock on there, get that sealed up. Oh, and one other thing. The three-way looks really new, and it's the newest bomb design, but for whatever reason, this three-way shaft was actually stuck inside of here, and I was really nervous about it, and I wasn't sure why it was stuck. And when I pulled it out, I noticed that one of the O-rings was almost like tied in a knot or something. I don't even know how that happened, but you can see it here. It's just completely just mangled up and destroyed. These other two that weren't completely mangled, they were really brittle, and they just tore in half as soon as I touched them with my pick, essentially. So I'm gonna have to get some new O-rings for the three-way. This is a Sidewinder HPR that looks to be pretty much unused, but I'll run it through some tests just to make sure it's sealing up okay. And this appears to be a Inception Designs bolt, I believe, though there's no logo on it. Looks like one of the newer ID bolts, but anyway, it's a good collection of parts, but there were a lot of assembly issues with this, and I'd be surprised if it is ever working properly. So we'll get this squared away pretty soon here, and I'll be back shortly. Alright guys, I'm taking another look at this Inception Designs Ripper, and you might have remembered from my first video that this gun was basically all in pieces. It had some assembly problems, so on and so forth. It was missing the ball detent, and so the owner decided to do a nice Inception Designs ball detent. There were some problems with the O-rings in the Shocktech Bomb three-way, so I replaced those. And right now it is gassed up, and you can hear there are no leaks at all. Everything's good to go. Like I said, I threaded this on with a little blue thread locker, not a lot, just a little bit. And then these, it's okay if these are not threaded on tight. They don't have to be tight. They won't spin once the hoses are installed. I did have to trim the timing rod just a little bit at the end here so that there was enough room to adjust this properly and then get the three-way shaft inserted properly in here. So that was a small thing I had to do. The big puzzler of this build though was actually when I went to gas it up for the first time and cycle it and try to get it tuned. All I was getting was a sort of a farting sound. It wasn't, I could tell just by listening to it, it wasn't a full velocity shot. It wasn't gonna be enough gas to shoot anything, so I played around with the hammer spring. I adjusted the IVG. I tried a really stiff hammer spring, same results no matter what. And so after a little while, I realized that the only part of this gun that I hadn't gotten out was the valve. So this is actually uses a classic style valve with the jam nut and then the set screw from the bottom. And taking it out, I realized that the previous owner hadn't even used a jam nut, which is a donut-shaped nut with a hole in it that secures the valve into the gun. So you need the jam nut and you need the set screw. This only had the set screw, so that was problem number one. Problem number two was that the valve was in upside down. And so the set screw was being secured up from the bottom right into the hole that was supposed to provide air passage from the front of the gun up through the body into the bolt and then out the front. Instead, the air was coming down through here, hitting the set screw, and then going nowhere. And I'll just show you what a normal valve, classic WGP valves actually have a hole in the top and the bottom. This one is actually similar to the one that's inside this gun right now. And you can see one side has a hole and one side just has a divot for the set screw. And that's this is the style that's inside of here. This is actually a Shocktech rack valve. This is a old CCM valve that doesn't work anymore, but this is essentially the same valve body. So you definitely need to have this exhaust hole facing up, otherwise the gun doesn't shoot. So problem solved. I did just get this chronographed to just a hair under 300. No problem at all. It took literally 5 minutes to get it tuned for velocity. So it is all good to go. I'll just do a quick cycle with air here. So this thing is good to go, and it is a really nice build, and I think the owner's really going to like it.